Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to work out these recipe ratio problems. Now they're very straightforward. You just need to make sure that you're working through these questions in a step-by-step manner and you're extracting as much information from the question as possible. So let's work through this. So it says here a bread dough recipe requires 5 cups of flour and 2 cups of milk. So to make this bread dough you need 5 cups of flour to 2 cups of milk. So the ratio here is 5 to 2. Okay, so let's write this down. So write question A. Okay, and then we'll write the ratio down, which is flour to milk, and the ratio is 5 to 2. Okay, now that's important information which we're going to need to use throughout this whole problem. So now let's read question A. So it says here, if 20 cups of flour are used, how many cups of milk would be needed? Right, so we know the question has given us how many cups of flour are used in the recipe, which is 20 cups. Now see this ratio here, 5, that 5 represents 20 cups, and we don't know how many cups of milk are going to be needed because we have the ratio here, the 2, we can use that information to work out how many cups of milk we're going to need. So let's extract the information from the question. So this ratio 5 represents 20 cups. So let's just write down 20 cups underneath flour. Okay, so that ratio of 5 represents 20 cups. Now we don't know how many cups of milk we're going to need, so that's something that we're going to need to work out. So how do we do this? Well, if 5 cups represents 20 cups, we can work out what the ratio of 1 will equal. So we know that the ratio of 5 equals 20 cups. Now we can work out what the ratio of 1 will equal. Well, to do this, what do we need to do to 1 to get to 5? So we divide this by 5. And whatever we do to one side, we do the same to the other side. So we divide this 20 cups by 5. So 20 divided by 5 equals 4 cups. So a ratio of 1 will equal 4 cups. But the ratio for milk is 2, right? So because we now know what the ratio of 1 will equal, which is 4 cups, now it's easy for us to work out what the ratio of 2 will equal. Because to get from 1 to 2, we multiply by 2. And therefore, we need to multiply this side by 2. So 4 cups times 2 will equal 8 cups. So the answer to this question here is 8 cups. There we go. Okay, so the ratio of 5 equals 20 cups and the ratio of 2 will equal 8 cups. First we work out what the ratio of 1 will equal, which is 4 cups, and then we can multiply that by 2 to work out what the ratio of 2 will equal, which is 8 cups. So that's question A done. Now let's have a look at question B. So it says here, if 7 cups of milk are used, how many cups of flour would be needed? So we can do this, we'll use this pen here. So let's do question B over here. Okay, same thing again, we're going to write out the ratio, so flour to milk, and the ratio is 5 to 2. The ratio is 5 to 2. And it says here 7 cups of milk are used, right? So this ratio 2 represents 7 cups. So I'm going to just write 7 cups here. Now, because 2 represents 7 cups, we can work out what 1 cup will equal. So in exactly the same way that in the same similar type of method that we used here, we're going to use, it's actually the exact same method that we use here. We're going to work out what the ratio of 1 will equal. So if the ratio 2 equals 7 cups, therefore the ratio of 1, how are we going to work that out? Well, how do we get from 2 to 1? We divide by 2. So therefore we need to divide the 7 cups by 2. So 7 cups divided by 2 gives you 3.5 cups or 3.5 cups. Now, because we know what the ratio 1 equals, the ratio 1 equals 3.5 cups or 3.5 cups, we can now work out what the ratio 5 will equal, because the question is asking how many cups of flour would be needed. So we know the ratio for flour, which is 5. Well, to get from 1 to 5, we need to multiply by 5. Therefore, we need to multiply the number of cups by 5. And 3.5 times 5, you can break this down, so you can do 3 times 5, which equals 15. And then you can do 0.5 times 5, which is 2.5. And then you can add those two numbers up, which gives you 17.5. So the ratio of 5 will equal 17.5 cups. Okay, so very straightforward. The ratio 2 equals 7 cups, 2 equals 7 cups. Now we can use this information to work out what the ratio 1 will equal. And we do that by dividing the 2 by 2, which gives us 1. Whatever we do to one side, we do the same to the other side. So 7 divided by 2 equals 3.5. And now, because we know what the ratio 1 equals, we can now multiply up to the ratio 5 by multiplying by 5. And then we multiply the 3.5 cups by 5, which gives us 17.5 cups. So the answer to question 2 is 17.5 cups. Let's write the answers in. So the answer to question A is 8 cups and 8 cups of milk. Answer to question B would be 17.5 cups of milk. Now, question C. If 21, so it says here, 21 cup measures are used in total. Okay, so 21 cup measures are used in total. How many cups of flour and how many cups of milk are used? Right, so same thing again. We're going to write out the question again. Write out the ratio, rather. Okay, so question C. So flour to milk. And the ratio is 5 to 2. And remember, ratios represents the number of parts. So in this recipe, there are 5 parts of flour to 2 parts of milk. So the question says that in a total, there is a total of 21 cups that are used in this recipe. Now we can use this ratio to work out how many of those 21 cups will be flour and how many of those 21 cups will be milk. So how do we do that? Firstly, we add the number of parts up. So if you add the 5 parts with the 2 parts, that gives you a total of 7 parts. So a total of 7 parts equals 21 cups. Because the question states that 21 cups were used in total. So in exactly the same way that we did the method that we used for question A and B, we can now work out how many cups one part will represent. And we do that by, so what you need to do to 7 to get to 1, well, you need to divide that by 7. And therefore you need to divide this side by 7. So 21 divided by 7 equals 3 cups. Right, so 1 part equals 3 cups. So to work out 5 parts, we would do 1 times 5, and therefore we need to multiply the 3 cups by 5, which gives us 15 cups. So for flour, we know that we're going to need 15 cups. So out of the 21 total cups, 15 cups will be flour, and therefore the remainder will be the number of cups of milk. So if we're using 15 cups of milk and we have 21 cups in total, the difference will be 6 cups. And that's how you work out, that's how you get to the answer for question C.